For people who do not understand the furry community, what do you have to say to them?
I mean, who you trying me?
What's the earliest you think someone can start to medically transition?
I don't know if I'd have an age on that.
For people who do not understand like pup play, what does this mean to you guys?
I guess role play, acting like a dog.
What is a woman to you?
Ooh, that's a great question. I don't know if I've thought about like what is a woman to me.
In this video, I decided to go directly to the source to figure out what some LGBTQ people think about the most controversial topics out there. Because even as a gay man myself, I'm confused with some of the things I'm seeing and hearing within the community, and I'm sure you are too. From trans kids to non-binary people and furries to pups, we're gonna go through it all, so be sure to subscribe if you like this kind of content.
I've seen a lot of kink and BDSM outfits, which, you know, that's express yourself how you want. Do you think that it's okay for children to be seeing that?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We actually have a child who identifies as gay, and yeah, we support it. We support the community, we support his friends.
Gotcha. And when you bring your child to the events like these, or it's exposed, you know, the more mature themes that go on here, what is it that you're trying to get them to take away from that or learn?
Just inclusivity, making sure that they understand there's actually a community out there that supports them.
I brought my daughter with me today, so I wanted her, she loves parades, so I wanted to get out and celebrate love.
Gotcha. How old is your daughter?
She is 6.
Gotcha. And what is it that you want her to take away from this experience?
You know, I want her to start at a young age just knowing love is love. I don't, you know, anybody can love anybody, and, you know, we don't even have to think about it. We can just love.
And then do you think that some of the stuff like that right here, you know, the furry floats and all that, does that bother you at all or no?
Not at all. I think everybody gets to do their own thing, and that's kind of what I want to teach her.
No one doing anything inappropriate. You know, if there's giant and shit everywhere, that'd be different, but, you know, this is a family event.
I mean, it's good for children to get, like, the exposure, but not in a way where they're, like, forced to believe a certain thing. But other than that, I feel like it's harmless.
Yeah, I think kids being at Pride is cool. I think for the most part, like events that don't have an age cap are usually pretty tame. And so, you know, I feel like if there is an age cap, it's like it's for a reason. And it's like for, you know, events like these, I think it's like pretty fine to just have them come out.
Do you think there should be an age cap here with like some of the floats that we've seen or no?
Honestly, I haven't seen enough floats that are like kind of like super out there. And honestly, with like the access they have to the internet, I wouldn't be surprised if they've seen worse already.
How do you guys feel about children being here at Pride today? We've seen some kink stuff, we've seen the furry stuff. Do you think that, I mean, yeah, in front of us, do you think that this is okay for little kids to be at, or do you think it's like should be an 18 up event, or what's your vibe on that?
I don't want to speak on nobody's children, but if you feel comfortable enough to bring your kids, that's you. I'm not a parent, so I can't.
Would you?
You know, my kids. I mean, yeah. I feel like it's a parade. Would I take them to like a different type of event where it's actually shit going on? Fuck no.
I mean, it's a parade. They're giving out candy. Yeah. At the end of the day, like, kids aren't exclusive to the gay community. So I feel like it's something that's very welcoming. If anything, like, if you know it's gonna be kids in the parade, you should know how to dress.
Right. I mean, it's just a place to have fun, just support everybody. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Hell, I guess that's just up to the parents, you know, whether they want to bring their kids or not. You know, it's not something that you have to bring your kids to. It's by choice.
I mean, I'd like 6 and under to not be here, but other than, I mean, I think it would be discluding the people who can't get childcare, if we're gonna call it that. I guess the way to say it is, don't wear anything weird to Pride or something too showy, because there are kids, and if we want to stay on the good side of politics, then we need to respect other people's wishes. They did not consent to see that, and that's important.
How do you feel about all this? Are you straight or?
I'm straight. Yeah. I love this shit. You know, this is the American dream right here. Yeah. Letting people get out on the parade, letting them do what they want, celebrating what they love. I love it.
Gotcha. What's something that as a straight guy, what's something that confuses you about the LGBTQ community?
To be honest, what confuses me, the furries. Yeah. That confuses me. Yeah. But to each their own. I don't judge them. Right. I just don't get it.
Which I'm so glad he brought this up, because it is something that confuses a lot of people. And not even just that, but like the other girl said, she thinks there's no need for kids to be at Pride because of all the kinks and pup play and all the different fetishes that you do see being displayed. Much like the San Francisco Pride, as you see here, California cops stand idly by as men themselves on each other at an event open to kids. This is real. This has actually happened, and it's just mind-blowing that not a lot of people, one, know about it because it is such profane, but using ground news, as we see here, it's only one source that's talked about this, and they're on the right. And I think they're on the right mainly because it's more so right-leaning media that's calling it out for what it is and saying when things are just inappropriate and wrong. And there's no one on the left talking about this event because they don't want to own up to the fact that, yes, there are pride parades out there that are absolutely horrendous for children. There are actually things going on that is bad for them, and we shouldn't be tolerating this. One article, one source talking about this issue that happened at the Pride event. And you know, we see here factuality, 0 of the sources are high factuality. What that means is that the Daily Caller is known for being mixed, you know, it's hit or miss with them, but with this, there's actual videos. Like, this is actually something that went down, and again, viewer discretion advised. If you want to go watch that, you can look it up yourself, but that is just sad. But if you like the way this is laid out, this is not just for Americans. Y'all, for my international audience, you can click up here. There's international, UK, Canada, and Europe, so you can always see the news that matters to you. And not just that, but I'm on the Vantage plan, and you can take advantage of the Vantage plan by using this feature called Blind Spot. Much like that article we just saw, with here you can see everything that the left isn't talking about, but the right is, and then on the right, you can see everything that the right isn't talking about, but the left is. Clear example of this, you see 25 House Democrats considering as Biden to withdraw. The left really isn't talking about that this much, but the right is. To me, probably because they don't want to own it to the fact that, you know, President Biden got a lot of issues, and we'll get into that in another video. But on the right, what you see here is Biden vows to keep running after his disastrous debate. The left is talking about it, but the right isn't. So you have the media on the left hyping Biden up like, yeah, this is gonna happen, Biden's running. And then you have the media on the right saying, actually, there's Democrats that don't want this, and the Democrats aren't even reporting on it. See, again, get on the Vantage plan, use Blind Spot. You can clearly see how you're being misled or mistreated within the news, because this is absolutely crazy. And that's the problem with the news, and why I love ground news even more, because with ground, it's more so a hub for everything going on. With the news, you have left-leaning news, right-leaning news, all these ads and sensationalism. There's so much just fakeness going around, but ground news is here to keep you grounded and help you understand what's actually going on in the mainstream media. As you see here, there are no ads because ground news is completely subscriber funded. So they're not having to deal with all these outside corporations and politicians and lobbyists, whatever it may be, to help skew a narrative. No, they're here to crush all that and equip you with the tools to see mainstream media and news with clear eyes. So be sure to sign up at ground.news/Amir, and this month only, they're giving you 40% off the Vantage plan, which equips you with all the tools that you see here, especially Blind Spot. So be sure to give them a look. Ground.news/Amir. You can scan the QR code here on the screen or tap the link below. Much like San Francisco, there was a lot to be seen at Nashville Pride, especially with the furries and the pup play. Now, I did interview these people, but for those that are unaware, this is pup play. This is consensual adult role play where people act like dogs. And I'm not one to shame anybody. Do as you may. You're an adult. Whatever gets you going, gets you going. But let's leave the children out of it, especially because this has such a heavy BDSM roots. And different from pup play, this is a furry. This is an enthusiast for animal characters with human characteristics, specifically someone who dresses up in the costume as a character. And we see this everywhere, from Zootopia, Looney Tunes, Lion King, Sonic the Hedgehog. These are animals that have human characteristics, and that's what people get into. For a lot of people, it's merely just a hobby and they leave it at that, but there is a heavy sexual side to it. And with the furry community, honestly, you're 2-3 steps away from getting into that side of it. And that's the problem that a lot of people have with furries in general, is how quick it is to be involved and get very sexual and into the perverse side of things and the predatory. And I can make a whole video on furries, and I will later on, but yeah, regardless, let's just see what they have to say.
What does the furry, if you have to dumb it down, what does the furry community mean, and what do they do and stand for?
Furry community is a community that helps raise money for animals as well as children such with autism. It's also a form of cosplay. So gotcha. It's a form of expression, if you will.
This is everything to me. There's a lot of neurodivergent people that don't know how to express themselves, and this is a perfect way of expression. A lot of people think it's like a sex thing. It's not. It's performative. It's just you're playing a character and you're being yourself.
Do you think that some of the furry community is exploitive or for adults?
Oh yeah, for sure. I've been a part of that scene as well. Like, it has something for everyone, and just like every other fandom, there's always a sexual aspect to every part. But It's
Do you think-
about being a character, being yourself, you know?
Do you think there's an age limit to when people can get involved or look into, the furry community?
I think that's up to parents for like when you should be on social media. I got my own beliefs. Other parents have their own beliefs. I don't really think little kids should be on social media. But I'm just here to have fun.
Do you think that all furries are okay for children, or do you think there's a subset of the furry community that does not?
Absolutely not.
What is the pup play? What does pup play mean to you?
It's just kind of another way to express myself, really, and I think that's what it is for a lot of people. I really like, just being able to put on a hood and be a dumb dog every once in a while.
It's just, I guess, role play, acting like a dog, or whatever animal you feel like, because all pets are valid.
For me, it's kind of that escapism from everything else in the world. You just kind of zone out and do your thing,
Gotcha. Do you think, which I totally agree with, for me, we're all adults, we can do what we want, express us how we want. Do you think that it's okay for kids to be interested in it, or what age do you think that this would be appropriate to kind of learn more about?
So personally, I feel that pet play originated in BDSM, so I feel like 18 plus is the preference to actually join the community.
Fair, yeah. What about you?
Just about the same. It's not in itself an explicit fetish or kink or whatever, but just because of what everything else you are exposed to within that community and everything else that goes into it. For sure, an 18 or even 21 up.
Wow, yes. I appreciate the honesty.
From the pups and the furries that I personally interviewed, it was clear that they think that it should be left for adults, which honestly is in contrast to the criticism that the community gets, is that, oh, we're coming for your children, when half the time it's a grown adult at Pride that's an event for them doing what they're going to do as grown adults, but it's people's parents bringing the children there. While I can understand as a grown adult, you're going to do grown things and it's not your responsibility for someone else bringing their kid to see that, I still think since we know how commercialized Pride has come and the fact that it is so many families and kids there, then maybe you should just tone it down a little bit. It's very clear, if we designated Pride events to be 18 and plus only, checked IDs before you getting into the festival and the parades, there would be no issue. No one truly would have a problem with it, because again, it's for adults, but the problem always happens when you're bringing in the children. But with it being a free-for-all like it is now, it becomes very confusing for some people on what being gay is or what Pride is even for. That is to some of us. Because when I asked people what confused them about the community or the Pride events, I was met with some very interesting answers.
Is there anything that you don't understand about the community? Not that it makes you a bigot or anything, but what is there anything that confuses you about it?
Nothing at all, for real. I'm all for everybody being who they want to be and living in their own truth, so I mind my business. Let people do what they want to do.
Nothing comes off the top of my head because I don't know. My mentality is just that even though I don't fully understand something, it doesn't concern me. I mean, it doesn't affect me in any way. It's just let people be people, even if it doesn't make sense.
As I talked to that black man and that white boy, it was very clear that they did have questions or they were kind of confused about the community, but they didn't want to speak up about it because they just felt it's not their business, which I can kind of get. You mind your business, you stay in your lane, don't really care what somebody else is doing. I get it, but up until you impede on my rights as a civilian in the United States or try to harm children. Again, I'm all for grown consenting adults to do what they want to do, but what you can't do is sit here and try to mandate speech laws so that I refer to you in the pronouns that you wish to be preferred as. What you can't do is try to sit here and say that trans men are men and trans women are women, ultimately impeding on women's spaces, exposing your genitalia, or beating them at sports. What you can't do is sit here and try to mandate that kids should have the right to transition. And trust, we'll be getting into the transition topic later on in this video, but with as much that frustrates me about the LGBTQ community, I was eager to know what frustrates other people about the community as well.
What's the biggest criticism that you have of the LGBTQ community?
It's very divided at sometimes, where one part of the community hates something and wants to fight for something, and then the other half just doesn't show up or just doesn't fight for it at all. Or when, with some parts of the community don't accept the other parts of it, and they're like, that's not actually being a part of the community, but I am. And it's pushing other people out for their identity, and I just hate that. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I think, it's pretty
there is a lot of not support in the community, and yeah, I think they summed it up pretty good.
There's plenty of things. I mean, it's kind of, I won't say like it's hard to pinpoint one. I don't know. I mean, I feel like there isn't a source of community, especially in Nashville. I feel like a lot of it is very segregated, unfortunately. So if there was one thing I had to think off the top, that would probably be that.
What is something that frustrates you about the LGBTQ community?
Oh, now this is a loaded question.
It's loaded if you have a lot of things that.
I have a list. No,
Okay.
I'm kidding. I'd say my only issue is like we're supposed to be one big community, but I feel like we're still like not inclusive to everyone in the community. We're still kind of divided, like just based off of looks or like how we act or what we want to do. Like we're all still like in subgroups within one big community. I feel like sometimes it doesn't always come together, but here today it was really nice seeing everybody just like having fun. Just we don't see this back home, so yeah, it's just the same thing.
Gotcha. Do you think that the community has gotten too big and that now it's just to a point where we can't even focus on certain aspects, or just still be accepting big umbrella?
I don't think the community could ever get too big because people, that's what I always told my mom is I was like, I can't help how I feel. This is how I feel. So if people feel like they are a part of the community, they should feel like they should be a part of the community. But I don't think it's too big. I just think we need to go back to our roots of why we celebrate like pride and like the community itself, instead of being like a lot of people just do it for the clout and the trends, because gay has become a trend as far as like people who support it, when in reality it's like this is our life.
And he's right, this is real life. Being gay is just as much as a part of my existence as being straight is to some of y'all watching this video. To the point I brought up earlier about the community being too big, while yes, it would be dope to be one big family and have each other's back, we can't anymore. It's too late for that. We've seriously just gotten to a point where we've become so inclusive that we are now excluding the very things that made us different and unique in the first place. A gay man used to be a biological man that is attracted to another biological man, but now a gay man can just be someone that identifies as a man even though they have the female anatomy. Like the whole point of me being gay is because I only like male anatomy, I only like biological men, but now they're sitting here trying to argue that no, it means someone who identifies as a man and you don't have to have a penis in order to be gay. What? It's 2024. I was expecting flying cars, not sitting here trying to argue and debate about what a gay man is. We've got lesbian events being shut down by trans women for not being inclusive to women who have the male anatomy, when the whole reason a lesbian is because they don't like male anatomy and they only like females. It's grown to be entirely too much, and just because you were split it up and you focus on one side of the community does not mean you're neglecting or shutting down the other side. They both can coexist.
Do y'all think the community has gotten too big? For example, there's Black Lives Matter that focus on Black lives. And just because you say Black Lives Matter doesn't mean all lives don't matter. Do you think that it's okay for the gay community to step back and kind of separate and say, hey, let's just focus on gay, bi, and lesbian issues, and then the trans, the queer, the non-binary, and the plus, that should be separate? Do you think?
You feel like it's like,
Yeah.
you do?
Yeah.
It's a lot already with the community anyway. It's getting bigger.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Do you think it's too big?
Then we got to focus on us too. It is a lot, in my opinion.
I feel like we can never be too big. The bigger, the better, in my opinion.
So do you think should we just be focusing on all lives matter instead of Black Lives Matter?
I'm not saying that. I mean, who you trying me?
I'm what your opinion.
I mean, of course, I'm a black man first, so we're gonna do Black Lives Matter. No offense, but at the end of the day, like I said, I feel like as far as sexuality wise, the bigger the better.
Okay.
I don't think it's too big. I think that the bigger it is, the better. I'm still ignorant to some things. I'll admit that. Like, I'm still learning some things and like trying to be conscious of like the things I say when it comes to like pronouns and stuff like that. But yeah, Black Lives Matter.
I mean, I feel it can be a lot. I mean, especially to other people outside the community. I mean, it can be a lot, but you gotta worry about yourself at the end of the day.
Right. I think it's just people educating themselves on it. You know, you got to make sure that, you just know, you know about it.
Do you think that the LGBTQ community as a whole, do you think that we've gotten too big to the point where like inclusion starts to become exclusion?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we kind of have started to make more boxes, which is kind of the antithesis of what we're trying to do.
Do you think there comes a point where we start to be so inclusive that we start to exclude, and maybe that's why some of them feel that way? For example, this whole split between like the LGB versus the TQ plus, right? a lot of the LGB that I've talked to, they've been saying, you know, I identify as gay because I'm a biological gay man that likes other biological gay men, but now my space is like, you know, Grindr is having trans men on there. But the whole point of me being gay is because I only like penis. So do you think that we start to include so much that maybe we should keep some things separate? Not to say we don't focus on them, but kind of like Black Lives Matter, if it's focused on black people, and just because you're saying Black Lives Matter doesn't mean you hate all lives. So do you think it's okay for the LGBTQ community to maybe split, say, hey, sexuality, LGB, gender expression, TQ+, let's focus on our issues, but, you know.
Personally, I think that's that would be kind of weird if you split it up, just because if you, like, pretty sure in, like, Stonewall it was trans women, so they're, like, at the forefront of the community, so I feel like it'd be just really weird if you separated them.
I don't really know, but I think the fight should just be for everybody. I get feeling like your space is getting encroached upon, but then also like there's a very fine line between accepting people and then wanting your own space and accepting them, than just like pushing them out entirely. So I think there's a fine line there, and I think we can work towards helping that, but I don't know.
Do you think that you can start to include so much that you do start to exclude?
I can definitely understand like that.
For example, like Black Lives Matter, black. But then All Lives Matter crew coming in and we're telling them, you know, we're trying to focus on this one thing. So do you think that the gay people should be able to focus on one thing too, or just let it be this kind of like All Lives Matter, everybody in the LGBTQ community come on under? Or should we focus on one thing at a time?
That's a hard question to ask.
Yeah.
A lot of times when you do focus on one thing, you do end up excluding another group. So it's like,
Which is not even by design. Like, it's not like just because you're saying Black Lives Matter doesn't mean you dislike white people. And just because I'm saying, you know, I want to focus on, you know, the gays and the lesbians doesn't mean I hate non-binary people either.
Yeah. That's definitely like a hard like line to toe, you know? I definitely don't feel like necessarily comfortable giving like a full answer, because it's just like that's like it's so hyper nuanced. Like, you know, it definitely just like I think like the best way to do it is kind of to just be more like discussion focused instead of being like, no, like we want our own space. We want our own space. It's kind of just more like, hey, like I understand you're looking for this. I'm looking for this. Like, let's all come together and come to a conclusion versus like, no, we're not trying to focus on that right now.
I feel like having a conversation about a lot of things will help it rather than just saying, this is what we believe in, this is what we believe in, instead of like coming together and actually talking about what you feel like you both can value from each other and get from each other.
And what's unfortunate is that a lot of these people that are striving for, you know, this whole wonderful and glorious planet where everybody's talking to each other, it's inclusive, it's accepting, there's equality. You can't have that if you're trying to shut down or cancel someone for having a different opinion, especially regarding gay Republicans.
Yeah, not good. Bad. Wait. Yes, because I'm like, why are you voting against your own community?
Yeah.
I'll just copy what she said.
Politics scare me, and I try to stay out of it.
Their middle ground is so far away, though. That's the problem. It's that they're so far. It's debating a right and not just like they think it's a preference. I don't know what they're thinking about right now, to be honest. But if there was a middle ground, I don't think it would be middle for us. It'd be a middle for them to tolerate us and not just like.
Middle for them as in like the straight people? Or
Yeah, like that Republican that it's more of to tolerate our community and not let us be who we are and what we're doing.
It's like boiling yourself alive. I don't get it. It's very perplexing because it's like literally taking the shoe and putting it on yourself. So I really don't understand that.
I'm not really sure. They're just confusing.
Gay Republicans.
The whole panel.
The whole panel. But I mean, even you can dumb it down to like black gay Republicans. What are your thoughts on them?
They don't. I ain't gonna speak on that.
I just think it's all a joke.
I'm not political.
I just say, you know, support what you want to support, but if you don't get the outcome that you don't want, you know.
I have talked to some conservative Republicans. Are they a part of that family too? As far as the LGBTQ community, are they welcome?
I as long as they have open minds. I have like I have some like conservative friends. I'm in a very small town, so there's a lot of conservative people that I know and that I personally care about. And if they're able to look after me, I could look after them. It's you. If you have an open mind, you are welcome to come here and understand it.
And that's how it should be. And what fascinated me the most about this person is that how the genuine human connection that we made. There are so many preconceived notions that people have on this person about how they think or how they act or this and that, when whole time they have conservative families that they love, don't think kids should be on social media, thinks a lot of the furry community should be 18 and plus, and how kids should probably stay away from it for a long time. I mean, hello? Totally reasonable. Totally reasonable. And that same person, Sky, the furry, they told me that they identify as trans femme, which I had to go Google this, but apparently what makes a trans femme different from a trans woman is a trans femme is a biological male that just identifies with being a woman even though they're not fully a woman, but they don't want that woman role. I don't know. It's very confusing. Like, I honestly don't even know why this Sky person and other people that we're gonna meet, why they don't just go by their name. Like, let their name be their personality and then their biological sex be the pronouns. Like, I'm Amir, he, him. I'm a guy. And people are like, oh, well, why do you need to know the biology of the person? Hello, because we're different. Sexuality, sex, male, female, bathrooms, sports. Like, there are things that in society we just need to know. Doctors, so they know how to operate on you because we're literally different down to the bones, y'all. But despite all that, one thing is clear, not everybody feels that way.
What do you guys identify as?
Any of them. Any all.
Non-binary.
Gotcha. Regarding, non-binary, what does being non-binary mean to you?
Honestly, just, was it the traditional, like, not identify female or male, just kind of living my life.
What do you identify as?
Pansexual.
Pansexual? And what does pansexual mean?
Pansexual basically has nothing to do with body. It's all about personality. I don't have a general preference. It's more about just what's in the person.
Gotcha. So pansexual is basically, that's when like you're someone who's down to be with biological man or cis man, cis woman, trans woman, trans man, whatever. It doesn't even matter. Gotcha. And what about you?
I also identify as pansexual and non-binary, trans, masculine leaning.
Do you think sexuality is based on biology or is it based on expression, gender expression?
I think it's more expression, but I definitely think some people have a different sexuality than their expression, So you got to be open to different people's ideas.
So, for example, I'm a biological cis gay man that I, preferably only like other biological men. And I've always known that as gay. But by some people in the community, I've been called transphobic for not wanting to be with a trans man. Do you think
that's up to your choice? Yeah, I think you're allowed to have biological preferences, but you can't go out of your way to discriminate about it,
Right.
Like I don't swing that way. I hope you find someone for yourself.
Gender and sex, do you think they're separate? Or
I think that they are because I feel like, but also I identify as a male. I'm a gay man. But also I always tell people when they ask me this question, I have a lot of straight friends back home that ask questions about the trans community or the queer community in general. And I'm like, well, I am not trans and I don't identify as non-binary or anything like that. So I will never fully understand how they feel to identify that way. So I can't fully answer that question, but I love them all anyways.
do you think that the LGB and the TQ plus should be separate? I've heard that where it's like LGB is sexuality, TQ plus is expression and gender expression. Because like lesbian, gay, and bi, penis, vagina, that's pretty much.
Right.
And then there's TQ plus trans, non-binary and all that. So it kind of gets conflated. Do you feel like that's the case sometimes?
I don't know.
I personally don't think so. I mean, I feel like they wouldn't have been able to have a space if we hadn't all been together at one point. So why separate? Like, I feel like it's just going to cause a divide between people who identify in both groups or in either group. So I feel like we should all be together because half of the people that identify a certain way or felt a certain way would have felt seen if that hadn't been added to the community.
The way I visualize that is imagine the letters LGB with feet pushing the TQA to TQIA off a cliff.
Yeah, that is something that's happening. We're seeing growing in the gay community is the LGB versus the TQ plus, which to some people they argue that makes more sense because if we're arguing that sexuality and gender are different, and it just kind of makes sense that LGB is sex, and then TQ plus is expression. How do you feel about that?
It's not expression, it's identity.
Well, yeah, but like that's different from sexuality. Whereas, say, for example,
True, but sexuality is intertwined.
I think I see the most like where we like go against each other is when it's more relationship or like more connection in that way.
as a community, we're saying that sex and gender are different, and there's sexual side and gender preference and how you identify as. Do you think that it's okay to separate but still focus on each, or to still have it under one big community?
I personally am not an expert on that. I feel like that kind of references separate but equal type of situation. I feel like it excludes a lot of people who fall in both categories.
Or what if they are about to both? Like for me, I'm black and gay. There's like here, and then there's like, Black History Month. Like I still feel represented in both. So I think there's probably ways that you can be represented in both ways. But yeah.
I do think that there could be some benefit. But I feel like separating them would make people who are in the TQ plus communities not feel as included and represented in the LGBT.
Gotcha.
For me, I mean, we're all kind of in the same boat together, right? We're all queer in some aspect, and to kind of like shun someone off and go like, "Oh, you're queer, but you're not," us it's a bit extreme. Like we got to have each other's backs. Like that's what I go down to.
Again, it sounds nice of the thought having each other's back, but we can't have each other's backs when you can't even get behind the most simplest concept. That pup guy, the pup mask guy mentioned separate but equal, but where he's wrong is that separate but equal had to do with black and white humans. We were all humans. I'm talking about sex versus gender, what you're telling me is different. The black and white humans, we're all human, we're still the same. Sexuality and gender, not the same, they're different, they're separate. The LGB and the TQ plus community are not the same thing. While these people I interviewed are very hopeful and lovey-dovey and free-spirited, we're one big community, we should stick together, this and that, I don't see how that can be a thing when, again, we can't even nail down the most simplest concepts. The same people saying men shouldn't be making laws about women's bodies are the same people saying trans women are women and trans men are men. So it begs the question, what is a woman?
Ooh, that's a great question. I don't know if I've thought about like what is a woman to me. I guess it's just like, oh God, that's a good one.
A few moments later.
I guess being a woman, it's like being a woman. Like you are a woman, like you're a woman. You're a woman.
Fair.
I don't know how else to answer that. I'm just like you are and and that's how you are. Like it doesn't matter, just like as long as that's what you identify with.
What do you define a woman to be?
I don't think that's something that has like a set definition, It's kind of just more like if you feel like you're a woman, then you are, and whatever you do to represent that is like, it's a very individual definition. I don't think there's like, that's not a circumstance where you can kind of define it for everyone.
Yeah, I feel like who am I to tell you like what a woman is or like what a man is, because like if that's who you are and that's true to being yourself, then so be it.
Sorry, what is a
What's a woman?
What is a woman to me? A woman is somebody who wants to be identified as that, someone who chooses and insists upon that. I don't want it be forced upon me. I don't mind dressing. I don't like. I'm a woman today. I'm a man tomorrow. I change it up. I have different outfit sets depending on which I feel like. I feel like it's a performance and a choice.
I think there's a gray area in it. To me, being a woman is very specific. I have a lot of pains. I have to deal with things. I can't go a lot of places, or I feel threatened to go places. But realistically, a lot of the trans community understands that too. So I think it's all a gray area.
Yes, that's fair. Do you think that it's, in regards to being trans, that somebody should have to do something to be trans, or do you think it's okay that I can right now, as I'm presenting today, just say, yeah, I'm identifying as a woman, and that makes me and you equal. Do you think that's fair to you, or?
It's definitely not fair to me. However, gender is a spectrum. There's different types of friends or different types of women. I know there are butch women. There are, I'm very feminine, but there are different spectrums of how much you are a woman. And you don't have to stay that way. It's okay to experiment.
And she's right. It's okay for you to explore your identity and your personality and see who you are, but only for adults. It's clear that most people can't even define what a woman is, so how do people feel about kids transitioning into one?
I think that's up to the parents and the kid that's going through that. We have a friend who's 8 years old who was born female but goes by he, him. So we're, that's their choice and whatever they feel comfortable with.
What age are your children?
116 is trans. So, it was a lot.
And if I'm overstepping at all, just let me know. Are you okay with your child medically transitioning, or is it social, or is it social? Would you wait for 18 for like medical?
That's the choice that we're making at that point. The medical decisions will be on his part. Right now, with the way the medical system is, it's not so easy to get that kind of care.
Did you always know?
No.
Was this guy out of left, like?
No, around at 10, 11 years old.
Puberty
hit. But we needed to make sure he was mature enough and knew what he was saying. When he was able to articulate the feelings, the thoughts, then we were like, okay, we'll accept you.
What about because I've interviewed a lot of people today, and there's been some gay conservatives who've said things like, I'm okay with the trans community, non-binary and all of it, just 18 and up. And when it comes to children, I really don't like the children transitioning. I'm fine with them expressing themselves how they are, but I want them medically transitioning, and that's where their gripe really comes from. What do you have to say to that?
I don't personally agree with it. I feel like a lot of people know themselves, and people just assume they don't know themselves because of their age, but
What's the earliest you think someone can start to medically transition?
I don't know if I'd have an age on that. I think that the reason that the therapy for gender transitioning exists is there for a reason, and if your kid is feeling that way, take them to that therapy and see how they do in it and go from there.
I don't know if there's a set age I would agree with. I think it's different for everybody. I definitely think we need more access to like gender reaffirming care. If kids think they're trans or, they say they are, they need to talk to professionals who can help them work through that and confirm whether or not they are. And if they both think together that's the right choice, then they should make that.
What do you say to the people who are like, okay, well, children can't get tattoos, they can't vote, they can't smoke, they can't drink, but all of a sudden they can get a double mastectomy. Do you think?
To be fair, on my end, I think a lot of the things that we don't let, like, for instance, 16-year-olds do, we should be letting them do, like, vote and be able to make those choices. So I would say I think it's fair for them to make those choices, especially if they're having their parents help them.
I don't know if that's a choice you make on your own. I think that's something you come to an agreement with your doctor, and the doctor should be there to support you and help you work through that. And if you both decide together that's something you need, then you should go for it.
What age do you think is appropriate for a child to start transitioning medically?
Transitioning medically around the same age the kids are allowed to start taking puberty blockers if they start going through puberty too early. So like for instance, I started puberty at 9. I would have loved to be able to cancel that out instead of being fully grown at the age of 12 and having teachers focus on me for being against dress code.
Gotcha. And do you think that puberty blockers should be the extent of it, or do you think minors like ages like 14 to 16 should be able to get a double mastectomy, or that should wait till they're 18?
They should wait until they're fully grown, because you don't want it to continue growing after you've gotten them lopped off, because then you just get it coming back and it's like, well, dang,
So pretty much for minors, just puberty blockers and then wait.
Done. Yeah. If you want puberty blockers, take them. If you don't, then wait until you're fully grown.
There's a lot of Republicans who are like, listen, at this point, get married, I don't care. Live your life, go to pride parades, I don't care. But leave the children out of it and don't transition the kids medically. Wait till they're 18. What do you say to that?
So the thing about like transgender kids is like they think they're getting surgeries at like 6 and all this other, but they're really not. They don't even go on hormones until they're 18. They get puberty blockers, which are reversible and have no effect on the children. So a lot of it seems a lot scarier than it is. But then there's a lot of kids who, before they can reach 18 because they don't get that kind of care. So it's kind of just, they don't want these kids to be around. So that's kind of on them.
I get being afraid and like them trying to protect kids from all this, but stopping it and trying to completely cut that identity out of them and not letting them fully explore that is just going to put more harm than good in the long run than just letting them explore it earlier on.
What if they're fine letting them explore that part of their identity, but without medically transitioning? So there has been, like, not a lot, I'll give you that, but like maybe like 2 to 3 cases where a 15-year-old girl has gotten a double mastectomy and then has regretted it. So do you think there's cases where, express your identity however you want, except but medically leave that to when you're an adult? Because, I'm not the same person who I was when I was 18, for sure. I mean, not a lot of us are.
That's fair. Yeah, I just guess I'm not familiar with like young kids. Like I know I had some dude in my high school, he started testosterone, but he was like 16 or 17, which can be a little young, but if you're considering like a life or death situation, which it is for most kids or young adults, it would be worth it, because then he wouldn't be here anymore and we wouldn't have him. So I think it's probably necessary. And there's like the detransition rate is like less than 1%, and then trans people are also less than 1% of the population. So it's already such a small niche problem that it's being blown out of proportion.
What do you say to the detransitioners who are like, yeah, I'm fine, I was there, I'm okay with the child exploring their identity and who they are, but personally, as a detransitioner, I wish I hadn't, gotten double mastectomy at 15. I want to leave that to their older. Do you think that's a middle ground? Like, what actually surgery stay to 18, and then after that?
I feel like that's okay. I feel like 18 is a good age to start making, because like for permanent like surgeries and stuff like that, you never know what you're going to be like when you're 18, when you're 22, when you're older. So permanent surgeries I think should wait, but I think like
yeah, I definitely think if anything under 16, I don't think you should be able to do that. But like, because I know a lot of things, I think you can get on birth control at 16 and all this other stuff. So and then I know a lot of detransitioners, when they detransition, a lot of them do retransition. So again, it's just a very small issue. And yeah, but 18, it just depends on the person really, and like parent support too.
Do you think that it's okay for minors to transition, or like little girls like 15, 16 getting double mastectomies?
No comment.
I'm the same.
Okay.
No comment.
I got the comment. Yeah.
It's a touchy subject. While I do believe children, because we knew we were gay from an early age, and we just didn't have a name for it. I just think, I mind you, I don't have any children, but I do think maybe there's another way that we could go about it, perhaps.
I'm pretty sure us three completely different people from when we were 15.
Exactly.
And have grown a ton, changed a ton. Obviously, we're still gay, but that's not like a life-changing thing. Do you think that trans kids should be able to transition, or they should wait till they're 18?
It's up to their parents.
The line of questioning. First of all, I'm pro-choice. Whatever you want to do, you ain't my child. Like I said, I don't feel like, if you feel like you want to do that at an early age, then do that, by all means. I'm not stopping nobody.
Because, for example, right, there's a lot of people, there's a genuine consensus that a minor, let's say a 16-year-old boy or girl, cannot consent to having sex with an adult.
Right.
Right? So we're saying they cannot consent to having sex with an adult, but we're also saying they can consent to change their sex.
Wait, is that happening?
Yeah. There are
We should be blaming the doctors.
There are 15-year-old girls who have gotten double mastectomies.
We should be blaming the doctors that's actually doing the procedure, but...
Do you think they should just wait till they're 18?
I feel like it's on the parents, because it's the parents' choice as well. Like,
they don't have like parents to like navigate that for them. Like some people, parents not accepting, so they're gonna do whatever they want to do at the end of the day.
Are you all the same person you were when you were 15?
I would just, and that's the thing. I would just say, just being honest, I would make my child wait, because during that time you're going through so many transitions. 1 minute you wanted this, and then the next minute you want that. So I feel like those type of decisions should be made, when you're older, when you know for sure,
Yeah, I'd say wait till they grown, make that decision for themselves. Because when you coming up, especially nowadays, it's so much different and everything. You don't know. You just don't know
who you gonna be?
That's something that I do. I am kind of like, I would say ignorant to the fact, maybe because I don't really understand. I probably wouldn't let my children do it at a young age, and I would want them to be grown before they decide to do it so they can fully.
The person we were when we were 18.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? People go through things and they change, they go through phases. They might be curious, they might not know. So I wouldn't recommend doing it at a young age. But to each his own, I don't judge anybody. So,
what age do you think it's okay for a child to, start to transition medically?
Above 18.
Really? Nice. So, under 18, they should just stick to, say it's a little girl, she just stick to just being a tomboy, and then when they're 18, then make that decision to.
Just give it time. The world is not a race. You can decide whoever you are whenever, but give it time because, I am not the same person I was when I was 15. Right. And while I think my 15-year-old self would be really proud of me, I don't trust her with every decision I've ever made.
For me as a parent, I don't think I would go so much like medically until they were a little bit older. And I've met my ex-partner, she was a trans woman, and she medically transitioned early, which I wish I would have, but me as a parent, I think I would wait until they realize, because there are where some people do and then they regret it, or that's just their stage, which I used to think I was a lesbian, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's changed, I feel like. So I think I would definitely wait.
As far as kids goes, I think there's a certain psychological space that should be held for the kids to express themselves with their parents.
Yeah.
And then once they're old enough, unfortunately, this may act on their physical transition. Mm-hmm. And that noise is, but better to be sure than to
kind of regret it later.
Completely oblige.
Gotcha.
And I feel bad for saying that to my trans ally.
No, but it's the truth, and people need to hear it. And it's your voice matters too.
When we're young, when we're 20s, when we're 30s, we think a certain thing.
We're not the same person we are when we're 18.
We're still growing, right? So later when we become 40 and 50, then we're like, oh, okay, I see that a whole lot different and a whole lot clearer. Gotcha. So for that reason, I think we should hold a certain careful space with kids.
As a trans person, do you think that as far as children medically transitioning, that should wait till they're 18? Or socially it's fine up until 18, then it's like you can make the medical decision?
As a fellow trans person who came out later in life, I do think that waiting till at least that age is a better option medically.
Right, I mean, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The things I don't like is when you have transgender things being pushed onto smaller children that don't understand it. And I have nothing against anyone that's gay, but I do have a real issue with transgenderism on children. 8-year-olds to 12-year-olds that really don't have, look, we have 2 kids, and at 8 and 12, we wouldn't trust them to make a major decision.
Right.
And we wouldn't say if they went through a phase where they said, hey, I want to, take life-altering drugs that's going to affect my life for the rest. I wouldn't let them do that for any other reason. If they said, hey, I want to take human growth hormone because some of the kids in my class are bigger than me, I want to take these new drugs to try to make me a little bit taller or bigger, I would never let them make that decision. So it has nothing. But what I don't like is that if you speak out against that, you're pushed down and you're immediately, shown as a transphobe, and you're
all the labels being
and you get
for having what I personally think is a very comparable and moderate opinion of just we're not.
And that's what I don't like is that you can't. This country is founded on freedom of speech and being able to say anything, and when people are stamped down for anything that they say that's against far left politics, you know, they get called labels. They're canceled.
Yeah.
And that's a form of censorship. You know, whether it's government run censorship or mob mentality censorship, it shouldn't exist in this country.
How do you feel about trans kids? Do you think they should wait till they're 18 to do anything medically?
I do think so. Because I think that if you have to be 21 to drink alcohol, if you have to be 25 to rent a car, if you have to be 18 to enlist in the army, I think that you should have to wait until at least 18 or 21 to be able to make those decisions. Because, like, I've talked to many people and, like, they actually regret the decision of, like, changing their body or...
Where's the coffee room? Because you are spitting facts right now.
Really? I don't know. Like, I just don't think that you should make those decisions on a whim. You know, like, I think that's something that should be really thought out. And I don't think that it should be a decision that is being influenced by your peers in like middle school or high school.
Honestly, it surprised me but made me happy that that was a consensus. Obviously, not every pride is the same. I understand this is a pride in the South and these people still have like the kind of Southern conservative kind of aspect to them. But it did make me hopeful and very happy to hear the sheer amount of trans people and adults that came to an agreement that, yeah, especially transitioning medically, that should be left to 18 and up. And speaking of trans adults, I did want to talk to them a little bit more about how they navigate life and certain things that they experience, as well as ask people about trans people on gay dating apps. So we'll get into that.
Do you feel like you deserve a spot on apps like Grindr and things like that? Or
Absolutely, I'm on there right now.
Period. Do you think that there should be an app where it's like, this sounds horrible, but like just like biological men and then like just trans men, or like there should be, is there, I don't use Grindr, are there filters on Grindr?
I think people should grow into being able to handle that all people are everywhere. And so then just actually read instead of just clicking, read.
I think it's very controversial because I feel like trans men are men, and then that's where people are like, no, they're
Right.
trans men. Trans women are.
What do you feel? Do you feel like you're a man or a trans man?
I believe I'm a man, but also a trans man. I have to stick up for the trans man community because I am, but also like I feel like a man. I am a man. I identify as a man, you know, and I don't think that we should be secluded.
As gay men, do you think that it's okay and accepting that, you know, apps like Grindr do accept trans men to be on there?
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, like I identify as gay, but I like to leave the door open to any possibilities. Because part of my self-exploration process of figuring out that I was gay was being open and accepting of new circumstances. So maybe there's someone that I meet up with on an app like Grindr that is a trans man. I wouldn't have a problem with that because I'm really looking for a connection. I don't really care what someone has.
So would you say that you're gay, or you that's really not your sexuality?
So I like to say I'm gay because that's mostly what I go towards. But I like to be opportunistic.
Gotcha.
So it's just mostly like what I go for.
What about you?
I'm mostly gay, but like I've definitely been interested in, you know, I've done stuff with trans people and stuff, so there's a big spectrum there.
That's a complex question. I mean, that's a complex question. I don't know. Yeah.
I guess because there's like more talks of like gay dating as like lesbian dating apps who are allowing trans female on the app, but there's a lot of lesbians who are like, well, I'm lesbian for a reason, or I'm lesbian because I like biological women. Sure. Not that they're hateful towards trans people, but that's just what they like. Mm-hmm. Do you think they deserve to have like their own place?
I do, but then I also guess that trans people deserve their own space as well, like a safe dating app or something.
Right, so you'd be fine with both, like a little bit of a separation. Not that separation means exclusion, but separation means being more inclusive to whatever you are doing.
Exactly.
What's your opinion on trans people on gay dating apps? So for example, like on Grindr, you have, you know, you're trying to get with another dude because we're all gay or bi, and sexuality, male, female, penis, vagina, and you meet up with somebody and they have a vagina. Do you think there should be apps separate for that, or it's okay for trans men to be on Grindr?
I don't feel like there should be a separate app, but at least inform them ahead of time or put that in your bio, I guess. I'm trans or whatever, you know. Because it'd be some fine trans men and boom, it's a vagina.
They definitely need to disclose who they are and be careful about the settings that they put themselves in. That's just the truth of the matter. And speaking of the truth, I did want to ask people about their truth, about their life, and what they wish they would have told their younger selves.
What's a piece of advice you would give to your younger self?
My younger self definitely like be less worried about what other people think about you, you know. You have your own style. Go right out there.
Just be more accepting of yourself. So
Just allowing myself to explore other things and don't let myself just be boxed out.
I thought about this a lot, but basically, just again, give it time. Not everything is going to be the same when you're younger and when you're older. I was not always happiest as a kid, and you know what? I'm really proud of who I became, but it did take time.
Don't give up on your art, and don't let people tell you how to live your life.
I'll just remind myself that it's really not as bad as you think. There are more people like you than you believe there are. You're not alone, and just, you know, be yourself, and the people that love you will remain there.
Don't give yourself up to fear. I've been a victim of just pushing myself into fear for a lot of my life. And I feel like that's not productive. Discover yourself. Be free with who you are and your expression of yourself. There's no point in living in fear. It's not productive. Just express yourself. Be yourself. That's the best part of this, you know?
And honestly, I tell myself that too. There is no need to live in fear. There is no need to have this urge and fight to fit in. You don't have to strive hard to fit into the Black community or fit into the gay community. You will be okay being 100% yourself, and you will find friends in those areas that work for you. My experience. Overall, this whole Pride event and Pride parade was so productive and thorough, and I genuinely had a really good time. And I know some people are wondering why I probably didn't combat some of the people's certain claims, but that was because you gotta know your time and place. I'm at a Pride event, Pride parade. That is not the place to really try and fight and change someone's mind. I was gauging the audience. There were some people I felt comfortable pushing back on, and there were some other people where I was like, they're clearly set in their ways, and you know, that's okay. I'm here at their event. I'm approaching them. I'm gonna maintain being nice, respectful, and not like try to trigger them, because I didn't go there for that. I didn't go there to listen to respond. I went there to listen to understand. My mind was never changed by a gotcha moment or rude people. It was changed by people questioning me. It was changed by people having conversations with me. That's how my mind was changed. That's how my worldview was opened up, because it made me think internally for myself, thinking like, wow, what that guy said, that really got to me, or like, I really didn't have a good response. Like, how do I really feel? And I think that throughout this day, there were a lot of minds changed, because there were a lot of moments where people sat back and they were like, that is a good point. And that was my goal. I didn't want to go in there, how many genders are there? I didn't want to go like, you know, this is wrong, or yeah, actually this source and this, that no, was not the time or place for that at all. The energy you give is the energy you get. In that whole day, granted, I did have my bodyguard with me. It was very respectful. It was calm. Every interaction that we had ended in either a hug or a handshake. Such a good experience to me. But also let me know if I should do more man on the streets. Listen, I take my same crew. I have no problem going out in Nashville or traveling to different cities and asking people questions about certain things. So if you liked this, let me know below. Again, thank you so much for subscribing and watching and tagging along. It means the world to me to have your support. It means the world to me that this is even, a career, a job. I'm just so grateful. I'm the happiest, honestly, I've ever been in my life. And as someone y'all know who's been through hell and back, I'm just very thankful, and I practice gratitude every single day. I cry all the time, but I want to be clear that I'm very honored to be in this position, and I'm very honored to have this community, and you guys can talk and network, especially my Patreon, which is only $1 a month. Be sure to subscribe to the Patreon. It's such a good time. I'm just so grateful and honored to be here. So with that being said, thank you for your time. I hope that you're going out there becoming the best version of yourself, and you understand, know, and trust and love that you can be anything you put your mind to. That you work hard on your goals and dreams, that you put yourself in tunnel vision. Don't be worried about someone else, obviously, unless you're impeding on your rights or harming children. Think about yourself. Think about how you want to tackle the world and become the version that you want to be. You control this more than you really think you do. So do what you need to do to get to your goals and dreams. With that being said, much love, everybody, and I will see you in the next video. Deuces.
Does your shirt mean anything to you? The Pride Month to demon?
Yeah, so speaking of Republicans, there was a Republican conservative who called all gay people demons. So a friend of mine who actually made these shirts made it, and to kind of own it, like, yeah, bit of a demon.
All right, so what brings y'all to Pride today?
No, I'm just playing. To experience Nashville.
Nashville?
Just celebrating.
The experience.
Yeah, just to have fun.
Where y'all from?
I'm from Memphis. I'm from Illinois.
What part?
Peoria.
Bolingbrook.
Bolingbrook?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I fell in line.
I'm from Bolivar.
Bolivar.
Jackson.
Gotcha. What's something that frustrates you about the LGBTQ community?
You want me to go first? No. I'm gonna let y'all go first. Is this like PG?
It's whatever. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't like how they be like a friend group and it's all, they all. I hate that.
Too much sexuality. Too much. Like,
Yes, they put sex first. They'll have sex with you and then they want to be friends with you and put you in a friend group with other people they have sex with. I hate that.
The gays are.
The gays are. What about? Here, hold on. Then we'll go through.
I just think that when it counts, we know how to stick together. But like in other situations, I wish everybody was more supportive of each other.
Is there anything that frustrates you about gay Republicans?
Well, Lord, it's just a lot. Like, why? You know?
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with being Republican. My mom's Republican and very much like an ally. Like, she would be here giving free mom hugs for everybody. But I love her. Oh my God, we're the same person. But some gay Republicans, I hate when they're like, yeah, I like guys, but I don't deal with all that other crap, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, you don't have to be out here expressing yourself because some people aren't into that, but it doesn't mean you have to hate on a whole other part of the community just because you don't feel that way. I don't know. I feel like they're like, yeah, I like men, but I don't deal with all this crap. And I'm like, that's stupid. That's so stupid.
Do you think, because I've interviewed some, do you feel like they say that because, there's gay people who are like, listen, I'm gay, I accept that part of myself, it is what it is, but me being a gay man that likes to be with other men has nothing to do with the trans community or a non-binary expression, and because this is the LGBTQ community and how it's represented in mainstream media, they feel like this has nothing to do with them.
I think that there's a difference in wanting to remove yourself from that or not be a part of it and still be like, I have respect for the rest of the community, but that's not my place in the community. I just identify this way or I feel this way. But some of them just make it a point to be like, well, I don't understand why they have to make everything a problem, or why is this our problem? Like, why can't you just like men and move on with your life? And I'm like, well, you realize half of us can't even get married around here. Half of us can't even live. People can't transition. Just because you're in your country boots out in the woods, getting down with your man, right, hooking up in the back of your truck, that's great. But the rest of us out here are trying to live our life without fear. So I just feel like they just kind of remove themselves in a way that's disrespectful instead of just being like, I have respect for them, I love them, it's just not my fight to be a part of that, because everyone's different. But I don't know, I just don't think they handle it the right way. Same. You're plugged for this whole interview, same. Yeah.
What brings you guys to Pride today?
I'm here.
Yep. And yes, we're here supporting my niece.
Supporting my sibling.
Supporting my daughter.
Very supportive, and this is very fun.
Love it. So you guys one big family. Is there anything that frustrates you about the Black community regarding gay, LGBTQ community? Is there a lot of homophobia in the Black community?
Yeah, making people feel ashamed.
Yes,
yeah.
50-50 kind of.
It really depends on the family, but if the stereotypical Black family, it's like if you grew up with them, it was like if you was like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just getting a little more, hoping to open people's minds.
Is there anything you want to say about the LGBTQ community?
About the LGBT. Keep being yourself, and no matter what anyone says, be who you are. Even if you're too scared to come out, like I have been before. There's someone out there for you, and there are people who will support you.
As a father of someone in the community, is there anything that you've had to deal with personally, especially being a Black straight male? Is there anything growing up in the Black community? What were your struggles with it, if you had any?
Well, my mom had 2 best friends that were gay, and then my sister's gay. So I've been around it a lot, so I'm very comfortable with it. So it doesn't really bother me. And then my daughter just came out. So
what did she come out as?
I don't know. So it's my first time.
Gotcha. Is she bi or is she
She might be. I don't know. She doesn't talk to guys, so there's that. But she doesn't identify with any specific gender or like that. So I'm just letting her, be free, and whatever it is, I support her. So yeah.
What advice would you have to other parents who are going through the same thing?
Try to talk to them, you know what I'm saying? Try to get to know them, let them know that it's a safe place to be able to confide in you with whatever they're going through and what they're dealing with, and let them know that whatever decision that they want to go with, it's okay.
Jesus said, narrow is the road that leads to life, and there are few that find it. But wide is the road that leads to destruction, and many be there that go. Jesus is the Messiah. Jesus is the Savior of the world. But Jesus said, if you don't repent, you'll perish.